Welcome to the Hall of Shores. This is a fortress created by the Archland dwarves off the side of an ocean. I decided to do this because I've never played on the side of an ocean before. I've never played with salt water in Dwarf Fortress, so this was brand new to me. And as you can see, I didn't have a whole lot of trees to work with, which really concerned me going into this. So this starts off like every other Dwarf Fortress playthrough, and we are going to dig a hole into the side of this hill, and we're going to start building our base. So we're going to drop down a few levels, give us some vertical space to work with in our base. So just like every other playthrough, we're going to change the tasks for each dwarf. We're going to go in and do all of our standing orders and kitchen orders. And we're going to create a quick pasture on top and put all of our animals into it. I'm also going to put a couple dogs down here in this hallway to protect my dwarves. So to start with, I start building a farm, and I also start building our first stockpile of our main room. The main room stockpile will be for just about everything, and it will be surrounded by workshops, and obviously up here at top, we are going to go ahead and build some farm plots. Here are some of the workshops going in. And I like to do these very symmetrical builds when I do my main floors where all my workshops are at, just to make it as efficient as possible. The first couple workshops going to go in are going to be the carpenter's workshop, which is going to craft all of our wood items, and also our stone workers. And these are going to do our thrones, our tables, doors, everything with stone. They're going to be doing it. Plump helmets are already in the ground and growing, which is great. And we're just going to keep working here and start adding more things like stills. We're going to add more things like kitchens, the butcher shop. And this will start to produce more food as we get to butcher animals and create meals. And with the butchering of animals, that comes some little byproducts like leather and like bones and skulls, which the crafts dwarf will use to build jewelry. We're also going to build a gem cutter's workshop. Like every Dwarf Fortress playthrough, we have to add our automatic task, which you see that I'm doing right here. And there's a lot of them. Now, adding a couple pastures underground, I did bring pigs. So pigs do not need fungus or grass to eat, so they can live underground from day one. And midsummer of our first year, we do get our first group of migrants. This was about 8 migrants. Which also came in with a lot of professional people. They had some skills to them. And here we're going to go ahead and build our first bedrooms. I like to do mine in groups of 10. I find it's just easier to do the math, and I can quickly do the work orders for them. Now, after that, we're going to go ahead and build our dining room. This is going to keep our dwarves really happy during this playthrough, and they are going to enjoy eating here. As we come into autumn, our fortress is coming along very nicely. And while I was building my metalworking area, the mountain homes decided to send the first caravan of the playthrough. So I went ahead and finished up placing down some furnaces and also our metalworker before going up and trading with them. Now, I didn't have much to trade at this point. I didn't have the gems that I wanted, which I usually trade, but I did have a lot of turtle shell jewelry, which I went and traded for some very basic goods along with some rough gems that I had, like more picks and a few plump helmet spawns. Soon after, while delving deeper, we hit our first cavern. Now, this cavern was pretty expansive. I decided to dive a little deeper and closer to the fresh water. And with this, fungus started growing on our first floors, so I was able to bring in the yaks underground. I then found out that there was a reptile species living down in our caverns, so this is going to provide a very formidable opponent when we do decide to expand. After realizing I had no coal or lignite in any of my layers, I decided to get some wood furnaces so I could start burning wood into charcoal and producing metal bars. And diving deeper, we found a magma pool, which upon investigation was just another large cavern with not much in it. But diving a little bit below that, we did find some semi-molten rock. Back within the base, with a little bit of coal and some metal bars, we decided to start creating some armor and weapons for our dwarves. To protect our base, we decided to make a trap hallway. At first, this was populated with stonefall traps, which are a very effective way to protect yourself very early in the game, but they are one use and then they needed to be reset. Next, a temple was in order. Our dwarves needed somewhere to pray to their gods to keep them very happy. Understanding that these stonefall traps are one use before they needed to be reset, we decided to create some serrated discs out of copper, and also some copper mechanisms to go into the trap hallway and give us some weapon traps. And with these serrated discs will be tearing through any enemy that decides to walk through this long hallway. With the basic functions down of the base, we are now going to create a tavern. This is a very important part of the base, as you get some visitors that will tell you about their travels, tell you about things going on in the world, and also it keeps your dwarves very, very happy. They get to socialize within your base, and this is always a good thing for them. Later into our second year, the dwarves of the mountain homes came back with a caravan where we got a couple animals in cages, and we also traded for a few more anvils to add to our metal production. With some excess stone, we decided to start laying down some floors and making the base a little bit nicer. We also added some wells down into our cavern where we can pull fresh water and our dwarves can wash themselves, and to provide fresh water for medical uses. And maybe this is foreshadowing, but we also needed fresh water for any wounds that we may get in future encounters or battles, which happened when a giant olm decided to come up out of the water and try to go up into the base. And quickly our military dwarves were sent down to dispatch the olm. After wounding 2 dwarves, it tried to make its way up into the fortress before quickly being dispatched by one of our axe dwarves. After knocking it unconscious, he managed to slay the beast by decapitating it. And with the story of the Archland dwarves and the Hollow Shores fortress just getting started, I am really excited to see where this takes us. Who knows the stories we will hear and the great feats we may see as we continue on this journey and watch these dwarves as they progress. If you enjoyed this and you may want to see other content like this, I have my Fire Talon Dwarves playthrough where I lived in a mountain for 10 plus years in Dwarf Fortress. You should be seeing it on the screen right now, along with a button to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for coming to check it out. Peace.